Marie. Still testing. We're not seeing it. You can hear my music. It's not staticky anymore. Can you hear now? Let's try again. Can you hear me now? Just checking. See. Can you hear me now? Okay, I literally didn't do anything. I just clicked on things and weird. So weird. I don't know what it was. And then I would click the mic and it was like so loud and staticky. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. Thank you for being patient. I appreciate it. Let me start again now that everybody can hear. I think we'll be a little bit better. You just let me know if anything funny happens and I'll try my best to address it. All right. So guys, what I was mentioning when I was on mute was that today, I know, definitely. Today I'm going to be live stream painting, right? And we're painting. Our theme for this month for right now is, kind of like flowers and spring things. And one of the things that one of the reasons why I'm interested in doing this is because I don't love painting flowers. They are just not necessarily like something I'm interested in. I feel like they're not in my skill set. And I do enjoy it sometimes when I have like, I don't know. There's something very satisfying about, like succeeding at drawing something as complex as flowers. And I think part of the reason why I don't like to draw flowers. Hi, Kirby. Thank you, Judy and Elizabeth, and Kirby's here now. And thank you guys so much for helping me troubleshoot. Kirby, you didn't miss much because I was on mute the whole time. And then we had static and all sorts of things. But we're working now. But part of the reason why I don't like drawing or painting flowers is mostly because they're so complex. They have so many folds and wrinkles and petals and, that kind of complexity doesn't work really well with my sort of like short attention span. And, it's hard for me. I'm very easily overstimulated by a lot of details. And I always kind of felt like if I couldn't recreate them well, and by well, I kind of meant like realistically, then I don't know. I had a hard time like justifying approaching that subject matter at all. But then I started to think about like, why do I have to replicate things realistically? Like, do I need to? Is that something that's important? And if I change the way that I replicate things, and if I allow myself kind of some room to represent flowers in a way that feels more, aligned with my own personal way of working, then maybe I'll enjoy it more. I don't know. I've been doing a little bit of practice and kind of playing around with it a little bit, and I want to do that with you guys today. I just want to kind of be open to all media. I want to have like flexibility. If I feel like putting pencils in there, I will. If I feel like putting markers in there, I want to. I definitely have been having, the bug to paint. So I'm definitely painting today. And I wanted to incorporate some other media if that's, something that feels like aligned with what I'm working on today. So as you may know, I have some reference images on the Patreon, and I'll have them up on the screen for us today. And I do want to kind of like just give myself some, guided timers, just because I want to try to do all of them today. And I do want to work a little bit faster than just like an open-ended drawing session, because I don't want to labor over details. And I know how I am. I'm going to try not to do that. So today I'm working with this cheapy sketchbook that I got at Target about 5 years ago. And it is, not very thick paper. It's I don't know, it just says high quality. It's nice, but it's more like for drawing, right? So definitely a drawing paper. And I'll show you, I've painted in it many times, and there's something really nice that I enjoy that happens when I paint in this book. It's just kind of like buckly kind of paper. I have lots of my acrylic gouache available. I have brushes and all that fun stuff. I have pencils nearby. I have markers handy. And I also have my nail colors, and I have ink. I kind of wanted to use a little bit of like paper, but I haven't prepared any pages. So if I do that, I'll do that on the fly with you as well. So let's go ahead and switch on over to this part. So this is my sketchbook, and I'll just show you a couple of things in here. I do have some like scrap papers that I thought maybe I could, an old Chipotle bag, some like paper that came from like the craft store. And I have that there. Maybe I'll add it. I don't know. But this is the paper. This is the sketchbook, and you can see the paper's kind of like, it's more suited to drawing. And when I do paint on it, I enjoy that the paper becomes kind of like, I don't know, it buckles just a little bit, and I kind of love that. So I was playing with some painting the other day. This was watercolor, and I just didn't do too much with it because I got kind of bored. I was painting today, so I wanted to show you some of that. But like you can see how the pages get kind of, you know, crispy and funky when I paint on this, and I kind of love that. Okay, so I was painting a little bit yesterday to kind of explore some ideas. These were a study of another artist who I saw on Pinterest, and her name, according to the Pinterest gods, was Phyllis Adams, who I did look her up, and I do believe this is her work. Very like beautiful, very loose representations, great use of color, loved it. I just wanted to kind of like try it and see how it worked, right? And then today I did, this is another study, although I cannot tell you who the artist was. I looked and I tried to find it. It came from Pinterest, so I haven't been able to find it. So I'm sorry, but I just painted something like what they had. And I was trying to kind of like think about how they created shapes and how they were creating forms and when they were using outlines and when they weren't. And sometimes this is really good for me when I'm kind of in a sort of like block. I always like to force myself to keep working if I'm in a block. But in this case, I thought that it would be really fun to do some studies of other people's work. So I kind of just like paint them and I see how things move, right? And then I started with the picture that we have and I kind of just did my own here. This was another study. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this was Hope Olson, who I went and looked at her work. Beautiful work. I love her style. Definitely knows how to abstract, and I love that. And as I've been talking about this month, like I kind of want to be able to abstract as well. That's just not like the way I normally function. So it's out of my comfort zone. It's definitely an exercise for me, and that's what I'm kind of playing with a little bit. So then I painted these as well, and this was again just really like fun and loose painting with my jelly gouache, which I had in my classroom, so I used it there. And then this one as well, same thing. So the colors like I mean the colors aren't great. That jelly gouache is fine, but it's a little bit like I feel like the colors are a little bit like dull. So hopefully today there will be some like better colors. I'm using my acrylic gouache, which acrylic just looks a little bit more opaque, more vibrant. Suzanne Allard is great too, and Yvette St. Amant. I'm going to write that down so that way we can keep track of these, because I do think that those are great. It's great to have like kind of a running list. I put it here. So I'm going to write it down. Suzanne Allard and Yvette St. Amant. Oh, I can't wait to look. I just really want to see how other people are approaching this kind of subject matter in a looser, less representative way, right? So today we have several images to play with. I'll put the first one up here and maybe make this just a little bit bigger. Again, they are on our Patreon page. And you can like have that on a separate device if you like, so that you can zoom in and see it a little more easily. Let's see. Elizabeth says, no, Judy said, Dar James, mixed media abstract flowers. I'm going to write that down too. Let's just put that on my little running list, which is somewhere here. Okay. Dar, D-A-R. Perfect. All right, I'm going to look them up because that's like, I mean, I'm looking to see how other people do this. How do you do it? I'm always thinking like, how do you know when to stop? And how do you figure out what parts to record and what parts not to? So definitely not in my comfort zone. And so I'm excited to, you know, practice it or try my best to try it, right? So again, I have my iPad handy with the reference images so that I can, if I need to, I can zoom in and look at them a little bit closer. Actually, I don't think I can do that here for some reason, but I'm going to use that for my reference. And then I do have a timer handy. So we started maybe like about, I don't know, let's say about, I want to say it was around 7:12 that I realized that I need to start again, right? So let's just say we're gonna have about till 8:12 or 8:30, and then we'll need about maybe like 15 minutes for each one. That's your biggest struggle with painting, when to record something versus me too. And I always try to think like, what do I need to include in order for this to read? And maybe that's not what everybody thinks about. I mean, I'd be curious to know, what do you think about? Like, what's important in your work? Is it important that it represent what you painted? Or does that matter at all to you? Because that matters to me. And so I will say, like, you know, it's okay if they're like abstract, but I want them to look like abstract peonies in this case, right? So I want to try to capture that kind of like dense bulb, like this like dense circle, right? Or like sphere. And like this sense of like, in some cases, like darkness in some areas or light on the others. So that's what I try to think about. But again, you know, sometimes it's very hard for me to know, you know, what to include, what to not include. And then on top of that, when to stop, like how much is enough, is enough, right? Okay, so first one is going to be 15 minutes. I think we're going to kind of leave them at 15 minutes. I like, yes, impressionistic, and when I'm talking about abstract for the most part, because I know that like there's definitely like a little bit, I feel like there's always a little bit of debate about abstracting things, because in my like, I guess, I don't know, the way I was taught, I've always given like, the sense of abstraction comes from like a change of something that would be like the representation of reality, right? But I know that some people think of abstract as being like without an image, right? And so if you're drawing a flower, for some people, they wouldn't consider that to be abstract. It would have to be something that's literally non-objective. But so when I refer to abstract, I'm usually talking about like making a change from something so that it doesn't necessarily render something realistically, if that makes sense. But yeah, the Impressionists did that, right? It was like an abstracted version of the world that they were viewing, right? And it was based on the way that they were like kind of picking out things to include and rendering those things. And in some cases, like choosing what was more important to show. And so that is kind of the thing that I'm thinking about as I work through these exercises, right? So I'm going to start with, I saw, her name is Sari, No, wait. Sari Shrek. I think that's her last name. And she is an Austin-based artist, and she paints like big disco balls on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen her work, but I'm sure you have. She made a video on TikTok that was really like helpful, and she talked about how one of the exercises she did when she was in college was working with the largest brush possible to paint something. And the idea with that I think was very helpful is this idea that you can start with a big brush, and then you're really forced to, yes, me too, right? Isn't she so great? You're really forced to think about, you know, how much you can render because of the scale, right? Did you buy her book? That's so awesome. Me too. I have it. I mean, she is so cool. Like, I love her. And it's so funny because like obviously we're both in Texas, right, Kirby? And so is Sari. And a long time ago, we connected on Instagram many years ago. I mean, this might have been, I just remember my daughter was young. She was like maybe in middle school. So I guess that must have been like, I don't know, 10 years ago, somewhere around there. But we connected on Instagram or whatever, and she just like literally invited me to her house. And I mean, it was so wild just to like go and visit with her. She's so sweet, so like down to earth, very cool, and just so smart. Like the things that she talks about in her, the way she like analyzes, you know, not just art, but like the world that we navigate is like so amazing. So anyway, so yeah, I wanted to really kind of like experiment with different ways to create, and I thought that using a big brush, as recommended by Sari, would probably be a good way to approach like the beginning part of this, just because it forces me to focus on big shapes and less about focusing on like small details. Yes, there. Thank you so much, Kirby, for writing Sari's name on there. Yes, and I always remember that she's like, it's like cherry, not sorry, because her artwork is, or her Instagram is called Not Sorry Art, I think. And it's because her name is Not Sorry, but everybody thinks that it's sorry. In fact, I keep saying it, but it's Sari, like cherry. I remember her telling me that. Yeah, her analysis of her work is so good. And also just like the way she thinks about, you know, society and the way we function as artists in society is very, like her hot takes are very hot. So that's like just such a joy, right? Such a treat. Yes, find her because her work is so great, really. So I'm going to go ahead and just start putting in some big shapes. I kind of started playing today when I was playing with this kind of like floral kind of motifs. I was experimenting with also adding outlines, which I liked for the linear quality, but I don't want to get too much into the habit of like, you know, refining a perfect sketch at the beginning, because I mean, it could mean that I end up, you know, really laboring over a sketch instead of really like looking at shapes and starting to like try to render forms, right? So I'm just going to big brush and start building these forms out. They may be wrong, they may be right. I don't know. We will see what happens, but we'll just put some of these colors down and big brush still. And I am using a lot of like pre-mixed colors, and I think, you know, it's nice to also just, you know, make your own if you prefer that method. But I do like this idea of, you know, having these kinds of combined colors. So like I can mix two colors together, and then I can create these sort of like gradients that, you know, maybe they're not, they just kind of add a little bit more complexity to very simple shapes. And I enjoy that as well. I'm going to just be mixing colors as I go here. I'm just going to scoot this over so that you can see my palette in case you care to know what I'm mixing together here. So here's that. Okay. So I am just going to like play today in this exercise. So I mean, I want to encourage you to do the same thing. I don't know if how you feel about floral kind of subject. Again, not really my favorite thing, but I do think it's good for me to do things that are not my favorites. Sometimes I don't want to, but it's good for me. So I'm going to kind of just like, I'm looking for shapes of like value. I like to look at, specifically, I like to look for, you know, dark areas whenever I see things like those leaves, for instance, that are really dense and I'm not fully sure what's happening in there. I look for values. So I think, okay, what's dark in there? And what kind of shape does that darkness take on? I try to use that as like at least a starting point so that I'll feel like, you know, I know how, or I can like make some sort of like, I don't know, I'm trying to say like, I'll know like some way to render the objects. Ooh, I lost some very important parts in here that I would have really liked to have. There was like a cute little bud right in here, but kind of lost it. Do I want to paint it in or do I want to ignore it? I'm gonna paint it. Let's just, I think it's also a good idea for me, especially me, to get into the habit of correcting, because sometimes you don't want to correct, right? Because you're like, what if I make it worse? I could just leave it out, right? But I do think it's good for me to correct because it, you know, kind of like forces me to let go of the previous part I already painted, like to not feel like things are so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like sacred, right? Where you kind of feel like, oh, this is too perfect and I can't erase or change things because it might be worse. And that is definitely something that I have to work to, you know, make myself capable of doing. Like, I don't want to feel like anything is too precious and I cannot, you know, erase it because it's good and it's not going to ever get better, right? So here I'm going to have, like I had my flower here, but then I moved it over here. So this will eventually just become my background. You swap pets were not your thing, but florals are, yeah, you do beautiful florals, Elizabeth. So much so. Yeah, I mean, I feel like also kind of pets aren't really my thing either, but I think it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's, I don't know. It's sometimes like you kind of like want to just draw the things that you're loving. And then other times you might be kind of like, no, I don't feel like drawing that right now. So I'm going to kind of just block in some of a background. And I know that this is not what we're seeing in the picture, but you know, I love some color. So I'm going to go ahead and put some color in there. And one of my favorite things when I'm painting is kind of this part, like where you kind of like block in. And I always say it's like you're cutting in the background. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite part, one of my favorite parts. Because I feel like I can reshape things at this point. And like right here, this is where I'm hoping that I'll get a little bit more clarity in where everything's going to be. And you will too, because you're going to see where my forms actually are going to end, where are the real endings for them. So how do I handle that in my classroom? You mean the idea of like painting things that we don't like, or the things that we do like and some things we don't like, or what were you referring to, Elizabeth? I'm sorry. I feel like, you know, that is like always going to be, oh, you're probably talking about how like we don't want to make corrections. Is that what you were referring to? I think so. Because I do think that, yeah, that becomes, oh, things that I don't like. Yeah, I mean, that is a challenge. So I feel like I'm in a position where fortunately I get to like choose the things that we do, and they get to be things that I like. And so in our like in Texas, right, we don't have like a really like specific scope and sequence. So like a lot of subjects do have that, but we don't. We have a kind of like a guide, right? And they're called like our TEKS, right? And the TEKS are like the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, and they're specific to every subject. So we have like knowledge and skills that they would like our students to learn at every level, right? So Art 1 should be learning this, Art 2 should be learning blah, 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 yada, yada, right? So I just need to align with the TEKS, and in general, like our district really likes us to be kind of aligned in terms of our timing, the sequence. But I mean, I wrote the the scope and sequence. So me with a couple of other teachers, we wrote it. So we determined what we thought would be like a good thing to do, right? So we all kind of say like, okay, everybody should be studying color this week of the year. And then if you like color and you want to do it with painting, you can. If you want to do color with color pencils, you can. If you want to do dog drawings, portraits, or whatever, you get to decide, as long as you're covering color, if that makes sense. So I usually, because I'm the teacher, right, I do decide what we're going to do. And if my students have input, because they do, a lot of times they have feelings about things. So they will tell me like, I really want to do this, or can we please do this? And so then I try to like fit that in. And so I kind of like will take the tone of the classroom and see what they feel. And sometimes they don't have any opinions, and they just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And other times they're very specific about what they want to do. So then we kind of try our best to accommodate, and also within, the time frame that we have, and within the budget that we have. That's a big deal too, because like right now we're doing clay in my classroom, and everybody is like, I really want to do clay. They were like basically begging to do clay, and we just didn't have clay. Like I didn't have enough. Like I took it out and I was like, okay, we have some clay. But I need like 150 pounds of clay. Do I have 150 pounds of clay? And I didn't, right? I definitely did not have enough for everybody to do clay. And so then that becomes like an issue. I mean, at this point, what I did was I ended up going and buying some clay for my students. But like normally, like if that wasn't a possibility, or I wasn't able to do that, then I would have to pick something else. So in that case, I want to do something like 3-dimensional. So I would say like, okay, well, we're going to do something 3D, but unfortunately we can't do clay this year, or whatever the case may be. So it just depends on so many factors, and every year is different. And so many of my students will come and be like, we didn't do this last year. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because it was a different year. We do things differently every year. Okay, so that was the timer that you may have just heard. And I'm not done yet. I kind of want a few more minutes. So I think I'm going to add a few more minutes. Let me see. So do I let the kids choose more individual? Yes. Especially for my advanced students. They need to get to a place where they can start making some of their own decisions. My Art 1 students, I try to give them, like, for instance, for this project that we're doing, the clay, I gave them a choice. I said, here are 4 possible ideas. Pick one, and that's the project you're going to make. And then I also said, if you have a better idea, you tell me, and then I can approve it. Because I really, with clay, I wanted them to learn how to slab build, pinch pots, and I wanted them to do scoring and slipping. So I said, as long as your project will be using these things, I will probably support it. Most likely. And as long as it's, I always say, like, it has to be PG. It has to be class friendly. Okay, let me put I'm going to put 5 more minutes on here. So, yes. And then my advanced art kids, I will tell them, so we're all making, again, I wanted them to learn some very, kind of basic techniques in clay. And so I will tell them, we're making this, we're making these noise makers, right? These rattles, these ceramic rattles. But I want them to learn just also the techniques, right, for pinch pots and scoring and slipping and all of that and slab building. But I want them to also practice like sculpting forms, right? So I asked them to make like sculpted heads, and I said you can make like an animal head, or you can make like a human head, or a monster, whatever. I just want you to attach a nose, a mouth, an eye, and an ear. You choose what you want to do within that scope, right? So, but that really kind of asks them to work in a smaller scale because they're kind of about this big, and be precise with their media and like learn to manipulate the materials as well. That was an unexpected yellow in there. I feel like there's some yellow in here, but not that bright. So I'm still in big brush mode. I don't know if you guys moved over to like a smaller brush, but I think that would be something that is something you might want to do as well, like kind of move into that realm. And I'm going to put a little bit of like darker pink here, right where I feel like there's even the darkest little bits. Again, I don't want to do too much. I'm trying my best to kind of reduce the amount of stuff I put in here. So we'll see. And I really want to put a little bit of that vase in there. So yeah, a little bit of I like to give the students a little bit of agency, especially when they're in the more advanced group, because the next class that they take does ask them to, kind of come up with their own project. It's project-based learning, so they'll do a year-long project, and they have to choose their project, and they have to design their research methods. But yeah, they need to be able to develop their own voice at this point in their art life, especially if they're in the pathway for art, which means that they're going to be getting like a like an endorsement. Okay, I just want to kind of like block in some of that vase. It's not right for me yet, but I want to put in the ground or whatever's happening below. And there's about 2 minutes left on that clock. I'm going to bring this down to somewhere here-ish. And I'm just going to say, okay, this is the bottom of the, whatever the background is right here. So a little bit here. And I will develop this a little bit more. Just mixing some colors. I want something kind of grayish. Let's see if that will work for me. Not that dark. It's a little too dark. And this will help me to kind of define the edges here. But I am so glad that school is almost over, you guys. I'm so ready for some summer break. I know everybody is, not just me. Maybe everybody except all the parents who want their kids to still be in school. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but I'm ready for a little vacation. I'm ready for a little break. Does anyone have any amazing summer plans that you're thinking about? I would like to do a little bit of traveling, but I still haven't booked anything. I still have not finalized any details for that yet. Let's see if I don't know, that's kind of funny here. Just putting like little bits of light. Oh, a timer's almost about to go off. Let's see if I can just get a little bit more green in these little empty gaps. Just don't want to have that emptiness there. Well, that should probably be time for us at this point. So I'll probably just leave this. That's so exciting, Elizabeth. That is so exciting. Yes, that's going to be so much fun. I mean, you are so good at it. So I am sure it's going to be an exciting time for you. What is the play? Out of curiosity. Put some of this on there. I don't know, I'm just using some of this blue here that I already mixed, and I thought it would be like a good addition there. I don't know. And I really want something down here. I'm saddened that there's nothing there yet. Let me see if I can add something real quick. I know we have to move on. I know we do, but not ready yet. I kind of want this like kind of avocado green that I saw a lot in the this artist studies. She had this beautiful like greenish, oh, it was so good. It was like, you know, 1950s appliances or something. I was like, I want that. So I don't know, we'll see. The only problem with something like this is like, oh my gosh, with glass, like then you have to think about, okay, well, how does this color reflect inside here? And where am I going to put it in there so it makes sense that this would be a glass object that has a little bit of that color in the back of it. I don't know. And for things like that, like I benefit so much from a reference, which I do not have for this one. Let me see if I can add that in there. Oops. Kind of went a little too far. And there is a shadow that I didn't put in. So in, you know, in a perfect world, I would come back and I would kind of put that in because I can see it going this way. And I definitely like a shadow, but I can come back to this. This doesn't mean I'm done here, right? Okay, let me see. Elizabeth says that is it Urinetown? Maybe I need my glasses. Like Urine? I don't think I've heard of it. That's exciting, but Art Deco. Ooh, that's going to be fun. Amazing. Shanty houses, Hooverville. Oh, I got to look it up. Wow. But is it Urinetown? Urinetown. Okay, so this is my done one, right? And I mean, I can come back to it later if I want to. I do like it, and I do feel like happy with it. I wish this was like my natural way of painting, and then maybe the more you do it, the more you get into it, right? So I don't know. This is drying pretty fast. I want to just flip the page, but I don't know if I should. I have a backup sketchbook just in case I need to come into here. So maybe I'll do that. So I'll let this one dry, and then I'll come into this one so that I can be working on more than one. So that was our first one. It was not terribly scary, so that's a good thing. Here's our second one. This one I definitely felt like I really liked it for how like spread out all the flowers are and how it just looks really, you know, like peppery. I really like the kind of like patterning of it. So I don't know. It also, I mean, to be fair, it does look fairly complicated. So keep in mind that in any of these cases, you don't have to draw everything. Just pick a section you want to work on and work there. So feel free to isolate and crop and change as you like, right? So I'm going to start this one, and I didn't have any like outlines in the previous one, which I kind of love, but it's something to consider if you want to include stuff like that. I do like some line work, so maybe on this one I'll reserve some time to add in a little bit of pencil or something else in here. Oh, I didn't even set a timer. Let's do 15 minutes. 15 minutes on our second one. The timer has started. And I'm going to, again, start by just blocking things in. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling about this? Hating every minute of it or loving it? I actually don't hate it, but when I first started doing some little exercises this past weekend, I was like, ugh, I remembered why I don't like flowers, or I mean, I like them, I just don't want to paint them. They were just so hard for me. So I'm, eager to see how everyone is approaching this. Let's see, it's kind of short and then bulby. I don't know, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Ooh, you're doing a lavender background. I do love it. I used to say that I was not into purple, but now I'm fully into lavender, 100%. It just became kind of like a color of the year for me. I feel like it was, so I used it so much in my sketchbook, like in the past, I don't know, like year, maybe, a lot. And I remember just noticing that because I was always someone who would say, like, I don't really like purple. But then there I was using purple all the time. Okay, so this, I'm going to put this here. And again, I'm just, kind of blocking in. And some things are not going to be just right, and that's okay. Just going to, I'm going to put in some stuff, and I'm going to crop as needed. This is my little watery vessel. And maybe I'll use that same color for some of these little speckled, tiny little flowers. I don't know what they are, but there's some of them kind of just clustered together. I kind of, I got this sketchbook, and I think I've mentioned it to you guys before. It's the one from Etcher that is the, I don't want to put too much in here, right here. It's that perfect sketchbook that is $79, and they gave it to me. It was a gift, right? But I like it so much that I don't even want to use it. And I feel like that's the mark of not a good sketchbook, because when you feel like it's too precious and you don't want to use it, then what is literally the point, right? So I'm kind of trying to force myself to use it because it's just such a nice sketchbook. I just feel like I shouldn't, but then why have it, right? So I'm trying to make myself do it. Make myself use this sketchbook even when I might have terrible paintings in there. I mean, obviously I would love all the paintings to be great, but then it wouldn't really be like, I don't know. What is a sketchbook for? Isn't a sketchbook for like exercises and practice and play? And so anyway, that's how I'm feeling about this whole sketchbook. I'm using this kind of orange in lieu of that like really nice bright pink. I did notice that I do enjoy sometimes when you can see that some artists are just taking like creative liberties with the colors, and I wanted to try that. I have a tendency to, I can do that with my markers, but I notice that when I'm painting, I have a tendency to want to just like mix that color that I see, or something close to it at least. So I'm going to try to play with color a little bit more in a way that I feel like is fun and engaging for me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can do it. I think I kind of want to also try to use like some unexpected colors, but sometimes I just have my colors that are like my go-to colors, and I struggle to use something outside of that. So I'm going to try to play with some other colors as well today. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with using your go-to colors. I think it's really nice to have them too. And I mean, a lot of people tell me that they like my color use, so I should really try to, embrace that. But I don't know, sometimes I just want I wish that I was, not so like attached to certain colors that I choose. Like I love pink, like, oh my gosh, I love pink. And I feel like that's always like the first color that I want to include on my palette. And a lot of times I just want to paint my whole page pink and then come back in later. And that is a story for another day. But I do think that that is a really fun addition that you can try on this one. Maybe we'll do that one for the next one, because I love when you have a background color, how it kind of imparts like, you know, a variant of your colors to everything you add on there. So that could be like a fun thing to try. Let's see if we can. Oh, I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. There are about 9 minutes remaining, in case you're keeping track of time, in case you are concerned about it. And I'm just using these the edge of my brush to just help me draw in some nice crisp lines. We'll see how they look. And don't think they need to be like too crisp, but I do like the way there's these kind of like, it kind of reminds me of like fireworks. It's like these like explosions of little shapes, and they're kind of all tangled up together, and they're all a little bit chaotic, and I really, really am enjoying that about this image, which was kind of a strange image to choose, but I liked that it had this very like playful composition based on that. Like this, there's like, you know, it's sparse, but also, you know, really, I don't know, it has a lot of movement. It's very engaging, I think, this composition here. So that's why I chose this picture. So this one I thought might be one of the harder ones to paint, but do want to kind of capture a little bit of that chaos that I'm picking up on. So I don't want it to be too like precise, right? It could be a little bit messy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. So this is really red in the picture, and I think if I put some red on top of it, that might be a nice touch, because it might help it to feel like even more vibrant, right? I don't know. That really didn't do what I was hoping for, but I'm going to put a little bit more of that on there, just so that I can kind of like mark in those like darks. Kind of a strange addition, but I think it'll be, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if it works. Because it doesn't really, I don't know. See, this would be like one of those things where it's like, well, how could I make it look like it's got all of this? Maybe a different shade. Maybe if I mix it with some of that pink, I can create sort of like a halfway point. Ooh, I think that's nice. No, we shall see. We'll see what happens when it all comes together at the end. Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it won't. Who knows? Okay, so big brush. I'm going to come in and put in a little bit of that glass on the bottom. I'm going to do something kind of bluish gray. Maybe not too much. I might just, you know, slightly imply we only have 6 minutes left. We'll see if we can we can try our best to meet the time restrictions here, but no promises. No promises at all. So this is a little outside of the line. Trying to no, that's very tricky. Let's put a little bit of red in there, kind of neutralize that yellow green. A little more white. Use that one maybe. A lot of interesting colors here in this reflected light and the glass part. Oh my gosh. Definitely a lot of challenging things to include if you want to. I mean, again, we don't have to include all of these things. We don't have to think in terms of, you know, rendering things realistically. So take that with a grain of salt. I need some more white in a sec. That's not the color. 4 minutes, 4 minutes. And I do want to have some time. Maybe I should start to put in my background because I do love the background. I always feel like the background really like does something for me. I don't know. It's just like I always feel like that's the part that really kind of like finalizes it for me. So I really want to take some time to do the background. So let me see. I'm going to try to pick a color that will work here. And again, I'm still with this big brush, so some of my shapes aren't really quite right, but I can come back and I can repaint them. So if I want to kind of correct this, I can repaint those little flowers or those little stems that I'm kind of painting over in the process of trying to fix. And I am going to work, okay, I have pink, I have red, I have green. I'm going to do, maybe I'll do something lavender as well, just like you, Elizabeth. So let me take some of this blue. See what color I get when I mix this together. Because whatever I get, that's what I'm going to use. I think I want a little bit more pink in there. I feel like I have to stop using pink so much, but I love it. It's my favorite. I'm going to kind of, I like to kind of loosely block in. And definitely I think for the next one, I'm going to do a background to begin. Just because, I mean, like an underpainting. Because I love to see a little hint of that underpainting kind of peeking through. So I'll do that for sure on the next one. Okay, we have 2 minutes. You guys, for this month's club meeting, I really want to do like a speed challenge again. How do you all feel about that? Will you hate me if I do that for our club meeting? I feel like it'll be really good for these flowers again, because then it kind of like forces me again and you to really make decisions quickly and not like labor over any of them. But that was kind of like what I'm thinking of doing, and I think that it would be really fun and a good exercise that we haven't really done in a while. So tell me if you have any thoughts or feelings about that. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. Okay, so I will probably come back in a little bit later, and you know, if I went over some of my little stems, which are like my favorite part, I will come back and put them back in if I feel like they need to be there. I'm gonna put a little bit of this inside the glass right here, which would have been that inside. And I can still kind of see my little stems, so that'll be good because I can just paint them in front if I accidentally go over them, which I am doing quite a bit right now. That looks like a little tiny strawberry just floating there. Let's put a little more in there. Oh, that's time. Okay, respectfully, timer, I'm going to finish this. So I'm going to ignore her for a second, a few minutes maybe, and just wrap that up. Oh, good. I'm so excited. Right? When was the last time we did something like that? I think it's been a while. Yes, me too. I definitely need to get out of my head. And I'll try to find like a bunch of like really simple flowers. And that way we can really just focus on trying to figure out the best way to simplify and record complex things like petals. I think that could be a really good exercise. Apparently I'm in for a crop pictures today. Tops of flowers, not always vase. Yeah, I feel like that happens to me too. Like the vase kind of is like an after. I don't know how people always fit their vase in. Like how? They always keep getting cut off for me too. I don't know if we just don't care about the vase part. The vase part's like, secondary. Sometimes the vase is very complex too. And so, I mean, I always feel like I want to try it, but it's like heavy. There's a lot of stuff in there. Okay, so this color, I'm not so sure about that one, but I'm just going to try to add a little in so it doesn't look like out of place. And I'll probably need to come back here and do a little bit more in the glass here because it's getting kind of like murky. But yeah, like I literally love just these shapes. Like they're so fun and just like, you know, simple and playful. And then just like the combination of colors I'm really feeling. So yes to this one, right? That was fun. I feel like I should use this one again because this other sketchbook is definitely very buckly. But look how beautiful this sits. Like this doesn't even buckle at all. Okay, so we're going to do the next one. You got the vase in, but you wish you didn't. That is so real. I mean, I can relate because I'm like, ooh, it would have been better if that vase didn't make an appearance. Well, the good thing is this next one doesn't have a glass vase because glass vases are low-key evil. But this will be something hopefully a little bit more, I don't know. I want to say a little more simple, but let's be real. It's probably not going to be. So I'm going to, I kind of just want to go to the next page here. Can I do it? Are you too wet for, it just really like absorbed everything so fast. Yeah, I think it's dry. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over to the next page. I'm going to still work in the same book. The other one is looking a little crispy, and I think I'm going to just leave that one aside for now. Okay, so next one, these like orchids. I also wanted to do some other kind of like springy stuff. I didn't get any images today, but thought it would be really fun to like paint some butterflies or even some birds. We've never done a bird theme, but I think we should because birds are also, you know, a challenge. So, you know, just throwing that out there. We should do that at some point. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next one. I wonder if I should do it over here. No, I'm going to do it over here. And I'm going to draw these paint these orchids. So we'll put another 15 minutes on the clock and we'll see how this goes. Right? They're so beautiful. I love orchids. If you are able to keep some orchids alive, let's share tips for keeping orchids alive because I can never do it. Like, I am always impressed by people who can because orchids don't live long in my presence. Oh, you did? You did? Oh, yes, I remember your birds. And I've always wanted to do the bird fest and I've never done it. And that's that's not with Monkey Mintaka, I think, right? I can't remember exactly who does it, but I think it's Monkey Mintaka. And I know that she has, I just can't remember. I know she does a lot of animals. She does like the cutest style of like illustration. Oh my God, they're so adorable. I feel like this brush is too big for this, but yes, okay. I know, I love, and you know, I'm one of her patrons, and I never get a chance to do anything, but I like her Patreon, and I like her YouTube channel. I like everything she does, really. Yes, I love her style too. It's so playful. It's so fun. It's very loose. And it's like perfectly, like she is so good at perfectly capturing like the energy, like expressions of other like animals, and she just immediately turns them into characters. I'm just like, wow, that is such a gift, you know, to be able to do that. Mine, every time I draw things, they always have the same face. Yeah, and you know, I think her Patreon is one of like the lowest price ones I've ever been. Like it's like $2 is the lowest tier. So you can just join for a little bit. I think her Insta is Monkey Mintaka. I'm pretty sure. Mintaka. I'm pretty sure. But yes, such good stuff. And you know, she has like, I think she has weekly streams too, where they draw she draws like just whatever, but she does them like live on, I think, on YouTube. And so they're just like really fun, just drawing sessions. It's just like her drawing style is so charming. I'm a big fan. I think she's UK based, but I'm not 100% sure. You need a notebook to take notes. I know. We need to, you know what? I'm going to write all of these things down, and then we are going to, I will put it on the Patreon so that way we will have a record. Because yes, we need to remember all of these great artists that we're sharing today. Like everybody sees different things, and it's so great to be able to share with other people. So nice to be chatting with other artists, like-minded artists. It's very cool. Okay, so supposedly those are the flowers. Apparently. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to fit the leaves in, and I kind of want to, so I might have to shorten everything. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. I think I can fit them. Yay! Definitely going to fit them. One more. We'll say that's the end there. Just really love a crispy brush when you can get one. Okay, so I'm going to go in and put in some very broad shaped leaves. I'm going to try to change up my color a little bit. I feel like I'm using the same repetitive color. I'm going to try to change my green just a bit, something a little softer. We'll see. Something with a little pink in it, just to neutralize it a little bit. I do love the way orchids look. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Definitely a fan of an orchid. I've always, and you know, it took me a really long time to realize that you can like keep like nurturing that plant even when the flowers fall off, like duh. But I would always just kind of be like, okay, well that plant's done. Goodbye, plant. And it's like, hello, it's still a plant, and supposedly they will, like, the flowers will come back, and they will flower again unless it's like totally dry. You don't have to get rid of it, which is just such a shame. Nowadays I don't really buy orchids anymore, just because I think we should keep them inside for the most part, but like I think my house is like too dry. Like maybe I need a humidifier or something for them to survive in the dry air conditioned based climate of my house. Really have to go hard on the AC. It has been so hot this week in Texas. It's like crazy. We're like full on, feels like we're like totally fully on and in summer already. Spring is over and we are in summer now. I really wanted a little bit more variety in my leaves, but I just kind of went in with all like the same shades. So I'm going to try to change it up just a little bit. Oh, it was 88. Oh, how luxurious. What a dream. You're just bragging now. Thanks. We were hotter than Jacksonville, Florida this week. Oh, wow. Wow, that's kind of odd though, right? Because, I mean, you're Minnesota. Wow. Okay, so it is pretty hot for you guys over there. It was 109 today. Yeah, it's been so bad. Orchids are wild. I've never even tried, and I love plants. Oh, really? Are they really wild? Are orchids actually wild? I didn't know that. I thought like of all plants, these are probably like the queen of cultivation because they're just so, what's the word I want to look like? I keep saying, sorry. What's the word I'm looking for? They're like very, I don't know, like very, I don't know, like bougie. I don't know what else to say, but like they're just like really like fancy. And I thought that they were just like, oh, it was wild. They're not wild. Oh my gosh. Kirby, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. I see now. You're like, no. I just meant that like an adjective. Wild is insane. Yeah. I'm so sorry. They're exotic. Yes. They're very exotic. They're very beautiful. They're very temperamental. So I've heard. And so, yeah, I just feel like they are, hard to manage. I don't know. Maybe they're not. I've seen some people who don't have trouble, but I'm not those people. Oh my gosh, these leaves are just not it. They're not working for me. I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'm going to come down to a smaller brush now and see if I can come into some of these little shapes and start kind of building that out. Let's see. I want something a little bit more. Oh no, where'd all that blue come from? Not that. That is not it. Let's start again. I want this one, but not all of that neighboring blue. I'm just going to use some of this. And I'm going to try to, just pick out the most important parts. I'm looking at, like, I think this part over here is going to be like some yellow and a little bit, I want to put a little bit of red in here. Are they wild? I'm never going to forget that. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. You're like, yeah, because it's not true. I love it. I love every minute of that. Okay, I'm just going to make that a little bit more vibrant. I'm using that color that I love it. It's called Lumi Red. Luminescent. Is it luminescent? I think it's kind of like neonish. Put it right here too where it's really, really bright. Never going to forget that one. No, not that kind of wild. Funny. And one of the artists that I was looking at in one of the studies, I don't remember if it was that first one, which was Phyllis Adams, and she had these like black, like straight black outlines around the flowers, and I just like that was so like anti how I work. Like I never use black, never, right? And then also don't like, I don't know, don't always put like such hard outlines. I do sort of, but in pencil usually, and they're usually not that thick and like pronounced. And she had these like really hard outlines, and I kind of like loved them. It's just not something I would normally do, so I want to kind of play with that. And I do like the idea of like unusual colored like outlines, so I'd like to try something like that, but Haven't done it yet. Let's put some more little stems in here. I want something a little thicker, maybe something that kind of captures that like post that they're attached to. I don't know what I'm doing there, but I like that idea. Okay. And there's a lot of stuff in this part. I don't know. I'm not going to put like everything in there, but I'd like to be able to get a little bit of the background in, as you know how much I like that. So I'm going to start working on that section, putting in some of this, like, I don't know what that stuff is, that like, what is that stuff called? It's called like coconut hull, or it's not that. It's like, I don't know, what is that grassy stuff that they put in that plant? There's a name for it. It's like you could buy it at like Hobby Lobby too, or something like that, like at the craft store. I want to kind of make it a little like a little wild looking. Make it look like it's a little, you know, like bedhead. And then I'm going to put in some colors. So I think I'm going to go for something a little, I already have green and pink. Always with the green and pink. I'm going to do something, I don't know, yellow maybe. Yellowish. We shall see what this looks like. I don't know. Ooh. We'll see. You're going to save this one to add pencil to? Awesome. I think that's a great idea. I kind of think that maybe it would be nice as also, you know, part of our experiments. Just like come back in later on with some pencil or markers or something that you want to add a little bit of line work. Perhaps that could be something nice to do. I like this kind of like chartreuse kind of color. I don't know if it was a good choice for the pink, because it feels like there's a lot of it's low contrast, and I don't know. I was looking at some works today, and I was thinking about how like I feel like there is this kind of like move in some, like, you know, more contemporary painters and probably like younger people who are doing these kind of like value on value, kind of like low contrast, you know, same value, something that normally, you know, we would say in art class, like, oh, you need more contrast here. But they're kind of like embracing that and kind of like leaving it in there. I saw it in a lot of like still life paintings where it was like a table setting or something like that. And the contrast was just so odd. It was like you have different colors, but they're in the same value, if that makes any sense. And so they kind of like have this weird, like, sort of, for lack of a better way to explain this, like invisibility. Like it almost feels like they don't show up, but then they do. I don't know. I feel like you need to see a picture. I need to show you something, what I'm talking about. So maybe I'll post a picture on the Patreon also, so that those of you guys who want to know what the heck I'm talking about can kind of visualize what I'm saying here. Because it was just like this really like unusual color combo that I would never have used. And I've just like, you know, been trained to, you know, seek out contrast. And it did not have that kind of contrast. And I really enjoyed it though. So I was like, oh, maybe I should try something like that. That would be a different way for me to use color, a way that is like goes against what I'm used to doing, you know. And I feel like that's what I'm looking for right now. Just things that are asking me to deviate from my norm and, you know, learn something new while I do different things in my own work. So I don't know. There we go. So that was our timer. So I can stop here, and perhaps I should. I think I would like to come back to it later and maybe, you know, add a little bit more like, of that like yellowish color, like in between some of the little like crevices. But I do like how like rough this is. You can see this is my painting. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I mean, I think I'm enjoying painting flowers. Go figure. Are you okay, Lucy? She's like clanking around back there. I'm like, what is going on? So let's go ahead and should we go on to the next one? I really want to paint it in here, but I don't think I think I should wait for it to dry. So I'll just give it a couple of minutes. Let's see if this dries in as I add more paint. Like if it dries in, I can just use this one because I just want to use this book now. Because now I've embraced the putting ugly things in my book, and maybe everything's not going to be cute, and that's okay. But yeah, the paper's really nice. It just really kind of like soaks it up. It's really nice paper, and that's why it's expensive. But you know, I do think I could just make this myself. I probably can't make it, but it would be nice. Coconut husks. There we go. Yeah, it's like the coconut husks that are like used as kind of I want to say it's like, it's not soil, but whatever it is, it's like kind of like mulchy kind of. Sorry, my doggos are being rowdy as usual. I know that you all told me last time you can't really hear it, so I hope you're not hearing that right now. Okay, let me just give it a quick little, come on guy, I know you can do this. I'll switch out the image if you're ready, so that way you don't have to wait for me. But here's the next one. And I did paint this one earlier. And I don't know if I liked it. I feel like I didn't. I don't know. I really wanted to paint the. Yeah, I do like it kind of. I just didn't like the colors I chose for like the background. So we're going to try this one again. We'll see what happens. It's just an exercise, right? It's okay if we don't like it. See, is this dry? Nope. It's not dry. It's almost dry though. Just give it a little fan. And then I'll set a timer in just a minute. So it is 8:30-ish, and if you need to pop off, I want you to know that you can. Go ahead and go whenever you need to. I'm going to probably keep painting, and I think I'm going to try and do the last two. I have 2 images, and actually I haven't done the last one. So I don't know, maybe we should just do, with 15 more minutes, maybe we should just do one. Do you want to, we'll do this one, and then I can do the other one on my own time whenever I have time for that one. I like this one because they're like little bulbs, and I just think bulbs are really fun to paint. I like the shape of like the leaves. What are these flowers? Are these planting medium? I see what you wrote over there. Yeah, planting medium that helps it to drain really quickly. And it's made from coconuts, I think, right? So it's like this like kind of fluffy, furry stuff. But these flowers, are they like larkspur or something like that? I don't know what they're called, but they have this like kind of like cylindrical kind of form. I like that about them. I think that would be I thought when I saw that would be a really fun shape to paint. So that's why I chose this image. And I really like the way the leaves look. I feel like they look so, I don't know, cylindrical. They just look really like juicy. Hyacinth. Thank you. They're so beautiful. Do these grow, if you were to plant like one bulb, does it grow multiple, like will it just flower one flower head? Or are there many heads that come from one bulb? Do you know? Does anyone know anything about these? I know you grow some amazing, some amazing flowers, right, Elizabeth? So, I mean, I would love all of your knowledge. Well, I just have this one big blob, and we're already 2 minutes down, and I still have this big blob of wet paint. Maybe I should just dab it. Let's just lift some of it, maybe a little. Right there. Yes, we lifted some of that. Okay. One flower head, early like daffodils and tulips. Okay. Very good to know. Yeah, they're so beautiful. I don't think we could grow anything like that in my region, but I'm sure they grow in probably more colder regions, especially bulbs. Like most bulbs, right? They grow like in cold areas. So anyway, big brush, starting again. Large brush. I'm gonna try and start with something other than pink for once in my life. It's like, what is this? I can't even fathom. I feel like I need to swap out my palette paper already. One flower, let's see. It's early spring flowers. You can force them in pots. Okay, inside. Yes. So with bulbs, something like that, you can, they will come back and grow again next year. They will flower again next year, or do they have to be removed from the ground? Because you know they do that thing in New York, the planting, and they like, people can come and take all the bulbs out. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? And they're the tulips, and they take the bulbs out, and then you can take them and grow them on your own or something like that. I don't know, but I'm like, oh, I should go there. I should go and get some New York tulips. Trying to get away from pink while doing flowers. I know. What was I thinking? I'm just going to like do whatever. I don't know. I'm just starting with the blue. I'm definitely going to be putting pink in here. Okay, so after they flower, you let the green stay, and that helps the bulb grow big. So then do they come out of the ground, or you keep them in the ground is my question. Let's see if I can get this to be a little lighter. It's not quite right. Just feel like I have too much sludgy colors in here, so it's getting a little... I don't know. We're going to see about putting kind of like some texture in here. So I'm going to make some marks. Staying kind of in the lines just a little bit like that. Tulips and hyacinths can be in the ground. Up here we have to dig up dahlias and gladiolas and ranunculus and anemones. It depends on your gardening zone. And you're saying you have to dig them up because it's too cold when the winter comes, right? I think, I don't know, but I imagine. I'm going to go ahead and start with some of these big juicy leaves or like bulbs or whatever they are. I think they're the new flowers would be coming out of these. Just so pretty. I should be using different shades of green instead of just one for everything. I'm going to try this. Oh, I feel like I'm going to fall off the page here. So you might not have that issue at all. Yeah. And I just feel like they would probably like just, you know, shrivel up and die over here. Definitely not cold enough for them to like not be able to handle the cold, but definitely might be too hot. Oh, I definitely took that a little too far. So we will see how this is going to get resolved. We'll try, you know, we might not have solutions for everything today, and that's okay. A little bit more right here. Definitely something in there. I don't know. I don't know what the process is for warm climates for tulips, hyacinths, and daffodils. Yeah, too real on the shrivel up and die. That's definitely a Texas thing. It's like, you know, we really have to have, you know, native plants because, you know, a lot of them cannot handle, yeah. And it just kind of like really amazes me when you start thinking about like how some plants like have evolved to like handle, you know, not having any water. It blows my mind. It really does. I'm just always so amazed. I'm like, wow. I have a cenizo, right, which is like the Texas sage in my yard, and it just like blows my mind how they just like, you know, they don't need anything. They don't need me. They will be fine when I am long gone. They will still be, unless somebody pulls them out, they will still be kicking, you know. And it's just really amazing. It's really amazing. Or like I was thinking about the bougainvilleas that I planted. I just have them in a pot, but like they are so funny because they get really beautiful and pink flowers when they don't have water. And when they do get too much water, they are just green. And so they're not showy. They're super drought tolerant. They're really the thing that, I mean, a lot of people like them, but they also have a lot of thorns. So some people hate them. But like mine was just getting beautiful and like pink. And then it rained quite a bit recently. So then now she's back to just green. She's like, no. But I just like, I'm always so amazed by sometimes I'm even like with weeds, I'm like, you guys are the survivors. Like, why are we trying to get rid of weeds when they are the ones that survive? I know they don't look cute, but you know, they're the survival of the fittest. Okay. So these are some kind of wacky colors. I just feel like my colors are getting muddy. I have a little too much on my palette right now. Yeah, they are naturally bioluminescent. Wow. I don't know what that means. I might have to look that up. I mean, I know I don't want to make you stop painting, but I mean, if you want to, you know, tell me more, I'm down. So down. Okay. We're at 6-minute mark right now. I really love that, you know, in this whole process of painting with you guys today, I really haven't even used my little brush. Not really. So I'm proud. I'm proud of me. Thank you. Thank you for making me do that, guys. Thank you. I think it should be like right here. I don't know. We'll see. Something funny here. A little bit of light here, even more light, I think, but I'm just contaminating everything here. I'm gonna have to re-evaluate this part right here, probably at some point. Maybe here. I'm just going to really simplify this little lid and maybe this stuff here too. It should be right here. Oh, this would be fun to do in like a pencil, just like a scribbly little wiry thing. Could be really fun here. Put a little, I want kind of like a different shade in there. Put some of that in there. I'm going to come back down with more of this. Should put some more. I need more white. Bolder colors makes natural neon watercolor paints made from them. Oh, they glow under UV light. Are they really naturally bioluminescent? I did not know that. And they will glow under UV light. I'm going to have to get some and take them outside and try. I mean, I literally want to see it. I want to. I did not know that. Guess it makes sense, right? Because they're so like bright and vibrant. Like they're, like you take a picture of something, you know, a bougainvillea, and they're just like wildly bright. I don't know what I did there, but don't feel like that was a good thing. It's okay, but not what I was after. I guess I'm doing a little bit more detail on these. but I'm gonna try not to do too much. I do like that there's this little like dark, you know, like circle in the middle that really feels like the center of the flower, and I kind of want to put that in, so I might come back and do that a little bit later. Put this in here. This is going to be the background. It is 3 minutes until timer goes off, so do what you like with those 3 minutes. If you want to get some background in, go for it. Let's do that. You want to work on those flowers still, do that. And then we'll be a little bit, we'll land kind of like at where we should have with all my little technology issues that we had today. Good times, good times. I kind of want to just come back in and put in some dark value right where I feel like I see them, because again, this is like one of those situations where like stuff is getting kind of confusing in that area. You know, look for the lights, look for the darks, and you know, that could be a good starting point. So all of this is just very, very like soft, you know, like high key color palette. So very like soft colors, like light things with white mixed into them. Oh, I like that. I like that little bit there. I'm gonna put that little wiry stuff here. Put that little wiry thing here. Maybe put some wiry stuff here. I don't know, I just want it to kind of imply that wiry stuff, and then I'll probably have to come back in and tweak this one a little later because there's not enough stuff, in my opinion. Needs a little more. And we are close to 1 minute. So I'm going to start putting it in a little bit of background, and then I'll revise this stuff down here. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be putting any more pink in here. Just kidding. Just went straight in. No mixings. Okay. Thank you, timer. We hear you. And respectfully continue painting. Okay, I do hear that, but I'm gonna keep painting. And if this is gonna be our last one, I'd like to get it closer to being done. But I do think it'll be fun to come back in and add in some like pencil or even some neo color. That's what I had intended to do. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do all mixed media. What is mixed media here? This is all just, I don't know why my iPad is not charging. Hello, bruh. See if she catches on now. But I do think this would be a good like foundation for adding in some other additional media. Now, I think this would be good to kind of play with some color pencils for sure. I do love a color pencil. I wanted to use the Neo color, but I haven't yet. Maybe I'll do just one before I close up for the day, because I would like to kind of you know, have something that kind of has a little bit more mixture. Oh, we were supposed to do that one with the pink background. I forgot. Girl, get it together. It's just so me to just forget. So I might try that as well. I mean, to be very honest with you, I'm actually surprised that I'm very much enjoying these. And I think it's because the short timers are making me have to stop. Like even if I'm going over a little bit, like they're really forcing me to just leave things like this rather than, you know, coming in and, you know, refining it till the end of time, which, you know, you'll never, I don't know, I'm sure that I could find a good stopping place and like a good, you know, a good medium between, you know, really developing it and then like also making something that seems a little more abstract. But I know that with things like flowers, it is hard for me to find that like stopping place, right? So I think it's good for me to have some kind of parameters that are going to, you know, force me to think about the amount of rendering that things are going to get. Not everything should be, I don't think I want everything to be, you know, rendered to like a lot of detail. So I will show you, let's see, bolder colors makes natural neon watercolors. Oh, mate, okay, I'm getting it now. I'm sorry. Yes, I would, oh, do you have some? You have a reel, so you're going to send it to me. They like blow out the colors. Wow. I need to see it. I need to see. I think that would be something I just got. Oh, and I didn't even put that little white one in there in the back there. Oh, well, she didn't make an appearance. It is fine. So I kind of put those little dots in there. And I kind of want to do the same thing for the pink things. So, I mean, there's not a lot of them there, but I feel like there's like one or two that I can see. Just there, literally two things. But yeah, I would like to play a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit more play on this one. So let's get, before I close up for the day, and of course, just want to remind you that you are free. Feel free to leave whenever you need to. I know that it's a weeknight, and some of you guys might have, you know, parenting duties to tend to. So if you need to go, by all means, please don't let me keep you. But I will try to do a little bit more work on here. So I was kind of thinking about putting in some neo colors. So I'm just going to try it. I mean, I might not like it, and that's okay. I feel like I don't love this painting as much as the other one. So I think I can like experiment with this one a little bit more. So I'm going to do a little bit of line work, which I do love. And before I do that, put a little bit of this green. They can be feral and fend for themselves. I love that. Feral kids. It's almost summer anyway. They deserve to let loose a little. When do they get out of school? Are they almost ready? I noticed that like on TikTok, a lot of teachers were saying that they were, like this was their last week of school. And I'm like so jealous because we are still 2 more weeks away, I think. So I feel like we have a while to go compared to some other people. Okay, I'm just going to use this and kind of give it a little bit of line work. I kind of feel like I want to use like a consistent color for line work. Oh my goodness, June 12th. Wow, that is a long time. Okay, then I shouldn't be complaining. But you all also probably go in a lot later than we do, I think, right? Like, did we already discuss this? I think y'all go in. Do y'all go in out after Labor Day? Because we are like well into the year at that point. But they can work ahead if they want to. Ooh, wow. So they can just go ahead of the crowd if they wanted to do that. That is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be able to do that. Like, if they feel like motivated or interested in something, they can go forward. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I put a little bit of that neo color on the blue, and I think that this little light pink might help the shapes a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like that pink background maybe wasn't a really great choice because it is just kind of, I feel like it's competing a little bit. But, you know, live and learn. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. I just want some, like, funny line work. Like, I just want some loose line work. I want it to feel effortless, but takes me a lot of effort actually to do that. The day after Labor Day, yeah. Your son has middle school, his middle school, one book, one community. Oh, okay, cool. So he has a book that he has to read and answer questions along the way. Wow, that's cool. We used to have that. I don't know if we still are having that, but we used to have like that as a city. Like we have a one city, one book. I think a lot of people have those, right? In different different cities around. I don't know, that's like a library initiative. I don't know. Libraries are really, really taking a hit these days. So we gotta, I always feel like I gotta do everything that the library is doing so I can like fully support them. I'm like such a library fan. Highly recommend you go and get your library card if you don't have one, because oh my gosh, they need so much support right now. Let's see, and white would be nice here. What if you add indigo to the front flower? This one right here? I do have this one that's, oh look here, this one. This is more like an indigo, right? So I feel like I could, because that one might kind of bring out that a little bit more. Because it's kind of getting a little bit like lost in there. Maybe not all around, but maybe here and there. Like where it makes contact with other things could be a good place, like right here. Might help it to come forward a little bit. Like not all the way around, proceeds to put it all the way around, like here. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Elizabeth. Thank you. We cannot say no to indigo, right? Indigo is like the best. I feel like I can use it on some of the leaves too, or the stems, or whatever they are. That's very light here, but I feel like I can add some right here. And there's like maybe some of this white too. Guys, I'm so glad that my school is over too. I forgot to tell you guys that I'm done with my class, which is so nice. I am taking summer school, so I will be in school shortly again, but it's really giving me a chance to like relax for a few minutes, rest for a bit, maybe some of this, and mix it with some of this. I love this like pale lavender kind of color here. It's kind of an odd choice, but I'm here for it. Oh, you know what I need? Some of this pink. Oh no, I ran out. Was that opera? I think that was opera. The opera red. I need a little bit in this little gap that I missed. Well, I feel like I've been painting a lot, like the day before yesterday, today, and I just feel like really like I forget sometimes when I get into my like little painting ruts. I forget how much I really love painting, and sometimes I need to be reminded by forcing myself respectfully to work, because it can be really easy to just kind of let, you know, time go by without, you know, feeding your you know, the things that you love to do, your passions, right? And I feel like that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been working so much. I've been going to school, and then I just haven't really given or had enough time to put into my own practice. And so it's really nice to make time for it. So, you know, I sometimes have to reschedule our live streams because I plan them so far in advance, and But, you know, I never want to turn down an opportunity to just draw with you guys because it's just so, like, good for me, I feel like. Just really helps me to, like, get back in touch with my practice because sometimes I do just kind of get out of practice and I need this kind of stuff. So thank you guys so much for being here, drawing with me, giving me this opportunity to make with you guys. I enjoy it so much. So, I'm having feelings about it, but I don't know what they are really yet. Maybe I'll just put some more like outlines. Just see. Put some little weird. We'll see. So many fun lines here. Should I do it? Well, I did it. Was that necessary? No. But you know what? Why not? I'm just going to play. I'm just playing. See what happens when we put that one on top. Nice. Maybe I might put some gouache on there. My dogs are like, please let us go outside. We've been good. I'm like, have you? Have you been good, dogs? My dogs are actually very good. I'm so lucky that they tolerate the long hours they have to stay inside when I'm at work. What good dogs. Okay. Okay, I do like that addition. I do have to say that that was a fun added element. Might be kind of nice to even put in some pencil here. Let me see if I have my, I don't know if I have an indigo, but I also have those woodies, which are those like chubby little crayons. Could it be that I don't have any more indigo? That's not possible. A lot of black pencils. There's, that's an, wait, is that indigo? Yeah. I don't know, I kind of want something, but I don't know what it is yet. I don't know what it is that I want. I know. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm going to have to order some more, right? I haven't really been using my color pencils, but I feel like I should always have them in stock. We know what we like, and that should be in my stock always. I'm going to add some little goodies here and there. I forget sometimes how much I love these little goofy things. I feel like this is just not it. This is like, is it black? It says dark indigo, but this is a different brand. So you know how we feel about this. We're kind of loyalists, right? We're loyal to our Prismacolor indigo. Well, I am. I'm loyal to that one. I think you are too. Yeah, I do love like when I can see like the differences in the line quality, like the line quality of the color pencils, like so different than the Neo color, and I enjoy that quite a bit. It's like you get like just an additional kind of texture, and I enjoy that. Okay, there. I do like that. I'll put the date on it. Today is the 14th. And there we go. So this would be my actually mixed media one, right? I didn't put any paper on here, but that would have been a nice touch too. Might try that on another one. So quick recap before we wrap up, because it's almost 9, but so today we did, what did we do? 3 or 4? One was, this is my first one, right? This is the first one we did. I think that's correct. Yeah. Number 1 I will probably come back and work this one a little bit more. It definitely feels like now it looks kind of like it needs more, right? But maybe not. You order a few when you are supply shop. I know, and I did order supplies recently. I ordered from, I think you had mentioned somebody also, right, Elizabeth, that it was like, what was that company that was going out of business, you said? And they were like, it wasn't Jerry's, it was somebody. It was a man's name, I think. I can't remember, but I ordered from St. Louis Art Supply, and I really liked it. So this one I think is my favorite. Should I put the date on it? I'm gonna go ahead. This is giving very Valentine's vibes. I mean, I wish I could be this kind of a painter who paints like loose like that. I don't know. Maybe I should try it. Maybe I should make some big paintings. Here's my second one. I think this is my favorite one because I love the colors. But I think this might be fun to add some more Crazy Joe's. Yeah, Crazy Joe's. Yeah, Joanne too. So sad, right? But that, like, it's already official, right? Joanne's already closed, isn't it? I don't know if they're still, like, doing their, like, clearance sales. And then this is my last one. So, I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether I like let me go ahead and close this one real quick. So, whether I like a more developed kind of, like, textural work. I think that's probably more my style. Or if I like something even like looser, like this, that is more abstracted, right? I don't know. I like this, but I don't think this is what people, like, this is the kind of work that, like, people associate with me. So, I don't know. I feel like this is more, like, it's a little bit more worked, right? But it still feels very impressionistic, right? It's still, like, a loose interpretation, and there's not, like, the sense that it has to be, like, really true to the image. And I think that that's just going to be my lifelong challenge, is to overcome that sense that I have to record things the way I see them. And, you know, sometimes it takes me forever because I'm always trying to think about that. But, you know, it might be just best to just kind of like let some things stop before you get there. So I think that's something to think about. Cheap Joe's. Cheap Joe's. Was it Cheap Joe's? I think so. That's what Judy says. Cheap Joe's or Crazy Joe's, right? Okay, so this is a sketchbook that I'm working at. I love the size of it. It's just such a perfect size. It's what is this one? I think it's like B5, I think. It's just a great size. The paper is really nice. So today we did what, five images? 1, 2, 3, 4 images. I have four images, and you know, just kind of played with ways to record the images in a way that feels, you know, organic, right? But also allows for some expressive ways to record. Yes, this is the Etcher one. This one's it. It is called, and that might be, I don't know if that's reversed, but the Perfect Sketchbook here. The Perfect Sketchbook. It is B5 sized. I wish I could tell you how many pages are in here. I don't know exactly how many there are, but it is like, this is like easily one of the nicest sketchbooks I've ever had. I almost feel like, I mean, like I said, I feel guilty. I feel guilty using it. It's just really nice. It was expensive. It was a gift. It was not like, it's made with 100% cotton paper. It's Fabriano paper. Both sides are sized for painting, so you can paint on both sides of it. It's just a really nice book. I mean, I highly recommend it, but it is on the pricier side. I mean, I don't know if I'll buy it myself afterwards because it's just so much, but it's like, you know, I make these little mini books all the time out of a big sheet of nice, like, printmaking paper or something, and this kind of feels like I'm working on that kind of paper, so it's nice. Yeah, I have a watercolor one from Etcher too, which is from my very first class. Do you remember, Elizabeth? That's how we connected, right? The very first class that I taught was with Etcher, and they gave me a sketchbook as well to use for that one, and it's the watercolor one, which has the white canvas cover. So if I had known this one was there, I would have gotten this one instead because this is so nice. 10 out of 10. But anyway, I digress. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for chatting with me. And I'm going to recap all of this stuff. The poppies. Yes, that's what it was, Elizabeth. I'm going to recap all this stuff we've talked about. I took some notes down. I know that we also mentioned Sari and also Cheap Joe's. And also I wrote down the other artists that you all recommended. So we'll have to put all of that down into the Patreon post. I will make sure it's included. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Kirby, for being here. I am going to let you guys go, and I will do a little recap on the page and just a little reminder that our next live stream is next Wednesday. We're going to be doing, just painting, straight painting. So that'll be just a sketchbook sesh. So if you want to join me for that one, same time next week. And then our breakfast club meeting, I'm trying to transition to kind of being in the morning, just so that we can meet up with our international friends. So that's coming up on the 24th, Saturday at 10 a.m. So thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a great night. And I hope you'll share your images, whatever you drew, on the Patreon community chat, or even tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see what you made. Y'all have a great one. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.